Ahead of what is sure to be a big year for all IPL franchises, because 2025 is the year of the mega auction where you're going to see a refreshing of all the teams. Well, there do seem to be a few disagreements that are cropping in, not just among, let's say, the stakeholders, but also between the stakeholders as well as the BCCI. And we're saying this in the backdrop of the fact that the BCCI have formally initiated the processes of getting started with the 2025 auction. Because again, whilst it's not just about determining the list of players released and retained, it's also about how many players should be allowed to be retained. How many more of, can you bring back right to match cards, the RTM cards? Are you going to be seeing an increase in the salary purse? What about other rules which may be contentious, like the impact player rule? There's a lot of things going on. And in this video, we're going to discuss, well, three major things that have come up as bones of contention, not only between potentially the teams, but even the BCCI and IPL Governing Council as a whole. Starting with, of course, the biggest sticking point, player retentions, or how many retentions is enough. Now, the one thing that's worth noting is that the teams themselves are very divided. So for one, some teams actually want about 5 to 8 retentions more often than not. So the numbers ranging from 5 to 7. Some are saying as low as 5, others are saying low as 7, where a couple of teams admittedly want 8 retentions. And there are a couple of teams here or there that say, listen, you should keep no retentions at all, let all teams start from scratch, whilst others say, okay, agree with that, but then give RTM cards only. What that does, their argument is that it ensures that all players get their fair market value rather than predetermined values, which is usually how it goes when players are retained by their teams ahead of the auction instead of being released into the auction pool. Again, it seems like there's no formal consensus here, because again, if you're hearing 3 different options come from 3 different sets of franchises, it does speak of a house rather divided. And it is interesting to know that there are certain franchises who want that there are no retentions, because personally, if you ask any sports fan, especially of team sports, the biggest example or the best way towards success is continuity. The fact that there are teams that want no continuity means that there's probably some desperation to ensure the playing field remains even, but you can't punish teams who do a good job, because again, it's not like there's a spending advantage here. Everyone operates within a salary cap. So it does seem a bit weird, if you ask me, that there's so much of a hullabaloo. If you ask me, and I've held this opinion for a long time, do away with mega auctions, ensure that you have drafts or trades happen more often than not. It'll ensure continuity and better team building rather than have this haphazard auction every 3 years. But it does seem to be a hit amongst viewers, and the media rights holders would love it, so it stays. Any which way, the other big real source of contention has been really, and this one is less of a source of contention and more about agreeing the number, the salary cap. Now, the salary cap currently stands at about 100 crores, which is grossly underrated when you look at how much money it is that these teams make in terms of revenue. Now, the teams want to increase it to anything between 110 to 120 crores, but you cannot rule out a full-on 20 crore jump, which means that for the mega auction, you could very well see a salary cap of about 120 crores. And this, I say, is welcome. I do think that if you're looking at how much the revenue sharing is between, say, teams and players, and again, without the players, none of this IPL or anything really would be possible. So you need to be giving them a good chunk of the revenue. I do think that this salary cap is way low. Even 120 crores would be low, considering the amount of revenue that these teams are on average bringing in from, not just commercial stuff, but also the guaranteed TV money that they are getting. The salary cap really needs to be raised. So in that sense, I'm glad it's happening, and I'd push for a bigger raise if it was in, my hands. The other one thing that really is getting talked about a lot, and this one has been a source of contention even for fans, the impact player rule. Here, there is a division, because whilst generally speaking, the media rights holders are in enjoyment with the rule, which again makes sense because it adds to the spectacle and the chaos. So it does make for interesting viewing. There is a bit of a mixed reception from the team. So apparently there are certain players who aren't a fan of it, and the coaching staff, less said about them, the better. They're not happy with it. Apparently, because they feel that it is kind of coming in the way of building proper 11s, which is, truth be told, what cricket really is all about. Now, despite the fact that there's a mixed view here from different parties, the BCCI do plan to keep it around for the time being at the very least. Of course, as Jay Shah, the BCCI secretary, has said in the past, this is something that could change. Now, the 2025 IPL is still a long way away, but tells you everything you need to know about the growing importance of the league, that planning for it is starting, and that too right after India have won an ICC tournament, the first in 11 years. So whilst we can always talk about the importance of Indian cricket and ensuring that it continues to be nurtured, let's make no bones about the fact that the one thing that is being nurtured just as much, and which is in turn nurturing the national team, it's the IPL. And if you want to keep the IPL stakeholders happy, then well, such things are going to keep happening. You're going to be seeing more and more debates about rules, about player retentions, and the powers of these franchises are potentially going to grow. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's something that only time will tell, but you can let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Don't forget to download the Sports the Cap, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead and check out some other videos we've done as well. For now though, from my side, it is goodbye.